All right, guys, NFL free agency is a very important part of the year, one of the most important with the draft coming up soon. It's also important to go ahead and get your free agents and not just your young guys. So I'll be going over the best and most impactful signings, kind of a mix of both. And we'll just jump right into it, starting with the first player. The Broncos filling a need on the back end of the secondary with Hufanga as a safety. And he was definitely one of the best safeties available next to Javon Holland. The Broncos last offseason picked up free agent Brandon Jones, and he was great last season. So some people thought they'd actually target Holland to pair them back up together. But I think Hufanga is still the best safety as a free agent. Now, being able to replace PJ Locke, who last season, like, he's all right, but he's definitely a backup safety in the league and a solid backup, but you do not want him starting because he's quite a bit of a liability. But I think Hufanga will be able to fit greatly, and he should be able to help what was a kind of average run defense last season for the Broncos. Another defensive player, Milton Williams, he was a great signing for the Patriots, I believe, and using their money to bolster a weak D line, but also a weak defense in general, is a great move. Other than holding the Bengals in week one and the Bills later in the season, Pat's defense was pretty terrible, and there's a lot of holes to fill, and they've been working at filling them with some of the other signings. And I think Milton Williams will just be a big impact for him. He's been a great key part of success to the Eagles for the past couple years, and 5 sacks as an interior defensive lineman last year is not bad at all. He'll be a big body to help bolster the run defense as well. If you guys want more free agency, also draft coverage, subscribe and check out my daily shorts doing 7 round mocks. But we'll be moving on to our first offensive player of the list, and that's Justin Fields. Now, we will get to our last five where we'll see more skill positions and not just quarterbacks. But I think Fields will be a huge impact for the Jets moving forward. I think a 2 year deal is a perfect bridge contract for him, and it's not overpaying for him, and that's pretty key for a team that's going to try to go through a bit of a retool. Bringing in Fields should help with Garrett Wilson's interest in sticking around, especially since they played together in college, and that's probably one of the best parts about this is you're going to team Fields up with someone he has chemistry with, even if that was 4, 5, 6 years ago. I mean, it's been a bit, but they did still play together. But having Fields paired with him is just going to be great for the chemistry, like I said. And Fields might not be the best quarterback in the league, but I think he could be around the 16th spot for the Jets up this upcoming season. He could be pretty average or maybe even a little bit above that, and I think that's what they need. They need top 20 quarterback play, and I think bolstering the O-line is the next step, and then I think Fields might be able to have a pretty successful year, maybe even above top 16. Switching it up back to defense is Joey Bosa, and he should improve what was an alright pass rush last season. Von Miller is playing opposite of Greg Rousseau, but this upcoming year, I think Joey Bosa at this stage should be a bit of an upgrade. They were 14th in sacks in the league combined defense last year, with 39 combined. And if Bosa can stay healthy enough, they have a good front seven. And I think that they might be able to reach up to 50 sacks, 45 or so. I think Bosa can be a big impact if healthy, and that's kind of a big if since he hasn't played a full season in a while. And last season in 14 games, he only had 5 sacks, so there could be a little bit of concern for regression already. But I still think that he should make an impact even if he's only putting up 7 sacks next season, because that's nothing to scoff at. I think the Bills might still want to look at the draft just to bolster up this D line just a little more. But if Greg Rousseau extended, I don't think it's going to be a big worry, especially adding Joey Bosa now. Moving on to our last quarterback on the list, and the last super in depth player we go in on is Sam Darnold. I wasn't necessarily a fan of the Seahawks keeping Geno as the only quarterback on their roster, like for the future, like no rookies in there either. And I wanted them to draft a quarterback if they were to keep Geno, and I didn't think he was necessarily a quarterback that was winning you more than a game in a series. Now, is Sam Darnold going to do that? I think the best is ahead, and I think we're just going to have to see. But I really like that they go out here and they sign Sam Darnold instead of, you know, keeping Geno Smith and not drafting a quarterback. And now I don't think they have to worry about drafting a quarterback. Maybe they can in the fourth, fifth round. But because Sam Darnold, I think he's pretty fairly paid right? It might seem like a little much, but the 33 million a year or a little above it isn't too bad for the next 3 years. But I just really like the fact that they're going to get a little bit younger, honestly, a bit younger, and it kind of raises the ceiling for this team. Although Sam Darnold's floor is kind of bad as we've seen. And if you want to see me go fully in depth on the Seahawks offseason so far, go ahead and check that video out. It was pretty recent on my channel. And if you enjoyed this one, go ahead and like it. Now let's move on to our 5 quick mentions. The first one is Najee Harris, and I think he fits the Chargers' play style just a little more than J.K. Dobbins will. I really like Dobbins, but I think Najee is an upgrade for the style of ball the Chargers play. Team we talked about, the Seahawks, and I think deciding to trade/cut a bit of their receiver core, bringing in Kupp should help kind of rebuild it. And I think it's clear Seattle is going for a retool, but even with Kupp's age, I still think he'll help to keep them semi-competitive. The Bears signing Drew Dalman should finally give them a little more support on the interior O-line. I like how active they've been in building the trenches, and he is part of that to help protect their supposed quarterback of the future in Caleb Williams. Another team we've already talked about in the Broncos, Evan Ingram is going to be a great fit if he stays healthy. It's a semi-low risk move too, and getting another weapon for Bo Nix is going to be great. This team hasn't had a tight end in quite some time, probably since Noah Fant, so I think this is a great move for them. Our final player on the list is Charvarius Ward, and I think this is going to help Indy a lot. And they're kind of a mediocre secondary with some highlights of it. I think this is a good move to help prevent some of the high shooting games that they've gone through. Now, I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, like, and I hope to see you guys in future videos. Comment too. Comment anything.